Sumerian. The first civilization on Earth, between two mighty rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, on a land that is now southern Iraq. An ancient people built the foundations of human civilization, a people who created the first cities, the first writing, and maybe the first organized society in history. They were the Sumerians, the civilization that started it all. 1. Early settlements. The story of Sumer begins around 4,500 BCE, when early farming communities began settling in this fertile floodplain. Life here wasn't easy. Floods were unpredictable, summers were scorching, and the land was harsh. But the two rivers brought rich soil, and that single gift allowed small villages to grow into something far greater. From these humble beginnings rose cities like Eridu, Ur, Nippur, and Uruk, often called the first true city in human history. 2. Birth of the city-state. The Sumerians created something the world had never seen before: city-states. Each city was its own miniature kingdom, complete with its own government, armies, laws, temples, and economy. Rulers were known as ensi, or legal leaders, who managed war, trade, agriculture, irrigation, and religious duties. This was the birth of organized government, a blueprint for the cities we live in today. 3. The first writing system. Around 3,400 BCE, something extraordinary appeared in Sumer writing. Not alphabetic letters, but wedge-shaped marks pressed into clay tablets known as cuneiform. At first, it was used to record taxes, crops, and trade transactions. But soon, it evolved into a tool for writing prayers, laws, stories, mathematics, and history. With writing, human memory moved beyond the mind onto clay, where ideas could outlive their creators. Innovation. Technology. The Sumerians were brilliant innovators. They invented the wheel, transforming transport, engineering, and warfare. They built complex irrigation systems to control water and expand farming. Their mathematics was based on the number 60, which is why we have 60 seconds in a minute and 360 degrees in a circle. They constructed boats for long-distance trade, reaching India, Anatolia, and beyond. Sumer wasn't just a farming society, it was a civilization of engineers, architects, and thinkers. Religion and the ziggurats. For the Sumerians, the world was ruled by powerful gods. Every city had a patron deity who protected it. At the center of each city stood a massive ziggurat, a step temple that connected Earth to the heavens. Their gods included Anu, sky, Enlil, wind, Enki, water, and wisdom, and Inanna, the famous goddess of love and war, rain, life, and death. All were believed to be controlled by these divine forces. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the world's oldest surviving works of literature, comes from Sumer. The Epic of Gilgamesh. It tells the story of a mighty king searching for purpose, friendship, and immortality. More than a myth, it reflects how the Sumerians viewed fate, the gods, and the meaning of life. It is humanity's first great philosophical story. Daily life and economy. In daily life, Sumer revolved around farming. They grew barley, wheat, dates, and raised livestock. But Sumer was also a vibrant trading hub. They produced textiles, pottery, jewelry, and metal goods. Their administrative system was remarkably advanced, complete with receipts, contracts, and even early forms of banking. Decline of Sumer. Over time, Sumer began to weaken. The soil became salty from constant irrigation. Wars between city-states drained their strength. Invading groups such as the Akkadians, Gutians, and finally the Amorites overtook their cities. Though Sumer eventually fell, its ideas never disappeared. The civilizations that came after Babylon, Assyria, Persia, built on Sumer's foundation. Thousands of years have passed since the Sumerians walked the earth, yet their legacy is everywhere. in our writing, our numbers, our cities, and our civilizations. They were the first brick in the structure of human history, and their story remains one of mankind's greatest beginnings.